All right, well, let's get this thing squared away here. I'll do the best we can. Hey y'all, it's Dan Lier. Welcome to the Amyloidosis channel. And I haven't been here for a long time, but I got a special guest today. Got my friend Brian Robinson, who I'm gonna introduce in a moment, but I wanted to give a shout out to all y'all. I haven't been on the Amyloidosis channel for quite some time. And I've had a couple of y'all make comments like, oh geez, I guess he didn't make it. But I did make it, at least for now. And I just have been busy and haven't been posting results and whatnot. But here's what's going on with me. I'm just so thrilled. So last time I got my blood drawn, they test my light chain proteins, which is the source of my disease. And they were almost to a normal level, if you will. And so that's really good in my world. And then the other treatment, or not treatment, the other measurement they take is called NT-proBNP, and that's for your heart effectiveness and efficiency. And it also had come down as well, which has been incredible. So I was diagnosed in 2017. In April 2017, I did chemo for 2 straight years and stopped in April of 2019, and then I'm on this drug called venetoclax right now, which is a non-toxic drug for lymphomic leukemia, which is used to help me do what I do. So, but anyway, that's my story. Today, I'm really honored to have Brian here. I met Brian at the Mayo Clinic during one of my treatments, and he had just got diagnosed like maybe a year after I did, but he was at the Mayo Clinic. That's what happened, right, Brian?
Yep.
You were there with a friend, happened to recognize me from the videos. So we got a chance to chat, and he's in town right now for the New Year's and just getting away out of the snow in Iowa. So he called me, and here we are. So I wanted to ask him, because Brian has been through a lot of stuff. He did the stem cell transplant, and I want to ask him about that, because a lot of people ask me about that, and I don't have any knowledge about it. So Brian, tell me about, what kind of amyloidosis did you get? Is there anything special about it?
I got the AL amyloidosis.
Yep.
That affected all my organs, kidneys, my heart, pretty much same thing you had.
Yep.
Maybe a little more.
Is that right?
So, yeah. And then I went through a year of chemo maintenance, and then went back up to Rochester for the stem cell transplant, which I was there for 3 months. Through more high doses of chemo, and then they cleaned my blood and put it back in me. So
I want to ask you about
amazing.
I want to ask you about that, because when I was there originally, they talked about a stem cell for me, but they said I wasn't strong enough.
Okay.
Said it would have killed me. So obviously I didn't want to do it, but I was also scared to do it. So I want to ask you. So I want to ask you a couple of questions about that. So you said you went back for, you said some kind of a maintenance prior to your stem cell
Chemo maintenance for a year.
What does that mean?
So they gave me the shots, the drip, the steroids.
Oh, I see. You just did the regular chemo.
I did that for a whole year.
Gotcha.
And then regular chemo, Cyber D.
Yep, Cyber D is what I was doing.
Yep, and I did that for a whole year. A year or 14 months, and then I was good enough to where they thought my numbers were down enough to go ahead with the stem cell transplant.
Wow.
So, and I was healthy enough at that time. So, and my age was a big factor, because I was kind of a rare candidate for being so young. I'm 50 now, and I was 45 when I was diagnosed.
Oh, my goodness,
so,
yeah.
And a lot of people with the disease, the AL, are 60, and a lot of them are African Americans. So why did I get it? I don't know. I guess I'm unlucky one.
Unfortunate one, yeah. So you did a regular chemo, and then you went back for the stem cell. Do you know what your numbers were when you went back for the stem cell?
I can't remember this time.
Fair enough.
they were way up there, but my numbers now, I'm back to being normal.
Are you?
My heart condition, everything's like, I'm a normal person right now.
Well,
and that's 4 years, going on 5 years right now.
So that's interesting.
I just was there a month ago, and everything's back to normal.
How did they get the amyloids off your heart and off your intestines? Is that
in time? They said in time, once they killed what was in you, in time it would kind of fall off. They said.
Interesting.
That's what they told me. So
yeah, that's interesting.
They said eventually it would go away, but they said it will come back someday. maybe.
Huh.
So
Okay, so
no
what?
cure. I mean,
yeah, I know.
What
I know.
But what you're on now is what the next step would be for me.
Okay.
Would be that pill.
Venetoclax, yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, tell me about, walk me through this stem cell treatment. How does that, how do you prep for it? What do you do? Tell me how, the situation.
So it was 5 days, went in and got hooked up. They put a, what do you call that?
A port?
A port in me.
Yeah.
And then
So a port is like basically a hole in your body so that you don't have to
goes
keep.
directly to your heart. Though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right to your veins.
Right to your heart. And that's because guys like he and I would be going in there all the time, so they'd have to keep putting new holes in us. And so he got a port. I didn't get a port. Go ahead, Ryan.
So then you get going. They had to collect enough good stem cell transplant. Sometimes it takes people 2-3 weeks. Sometimes it takes a week, 2-3 days. But it took me a week to get all my good enough stem cell that they collected to get back to me. They saved one bag for future, which is frozen at Mayo Clinic, and then they gave me one bag back. And I think I got it August of 2018, my good blood back.
Wow.
So they take the good out of you, save it, and then kill you with high dose of chemo. So I ended up losing my hair, and I was deathly sick.
I'm sure you were.
I mean, I had to go to the hospital. I mean,
well, no, yeah.
So
sick. So let me get this right. So this is they basically harvest all these healthy stem cells out of your body, right?
Yep.
And they keep them for you, right?
Yep.
When they feel like they have enough or whatever, then they're hitting you with these high doses
after they get the good.
Of chemo. And you're in the hospital at this point, because I remember it's like a 3-week deal in the hospital. At least that's what they told me. And so they're hitting you with this high dose of chemo, right?
Yep.
Now, is it a IV?
Yep.
It's an IV?
IV, yep.
And so, like, how many doses of this high doses?
I did it for 3 days.
Okay.
High dose of chemo, and it was
So you were just like
zombie,
out,
yeah.
like that feeling like you don't care if you die or not.
Yeah,
right.
He was deathly sick.
Yeah. And so after the 3 days, you start feeling
better.
a little bit better. I can visualize you right now. I know you're all emancipated. I mean, you're just all hollow and everything like that. And okay, so you start to feel better. Then what happens?
Then after that 3 days, they go ahead and put that good stem cell back in you.
Okay.
So then you got to stay there longer. They watch your numbers as you go. You know, you build your strength back up and start eating. You know, when at first you had no appetite for nothing. I mean, you couldn't taste, smell. I mean, it kind of like COVID. I mean, my body stunk like corn.
Really?
It puts a bad odor off for a few days.
Interesting.
So I don't like rotten corn, but
Yeah.
it's crazy. But you know, they're smart people.
Yeah.
And they know what to do. So
Yeah. So you're starting to, they put the positive cells into you, and then you start to, I mean, obviously you start to feel better.
Feel better. I'd say 3 months I was pretty well back to normal, doing my normal activities.
Oh, that's really good.
So
once they started putting the healthy cells back into you, how long till you were able to leave the hospital?
it was 3 months. I was back home in 3 months. Well, I was back and forth.
Yeah.
So I think I came home for 2 weeks and then went back up for another 3 weeks. But
Oh, wow.
you know, they watch your stuff. I mean, but I wasn't actually in the hospital. I was at the Gift of Life transplant house. So
Oh, I gotcha.
I mean, you really weren't in the hospital. You come and go, but I spent a good 3 weeks in the hospital.
Wow.
But that was when they put the stem cell back in me.
Right.
So my previous time there was in and out through the transplant house, and I'd go every day up there to get my bad stuff or good stuff taken out of me and bad stuff taken.
Right.
But
Wow, fascinating. So after that, then you went about your business and, you know, trying to get back to your regular life, and your strength just came back over time, and you know, here we are today.
Yep.
When was the date on that stem cell transplant?
August 20th, 2018.
2018?
Yeah, that's when they give you a new birthday.
That's right. 19, 21, 22. Wow. Gotcha.
So, you know, when they say 4 or 5 years, they could have to have them again. So,
Oh, geez, I hope not.
but I'm on that line now.
Yeah,
We're riding
yeah.
a roller coaster now.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I wonder, like, you know, they're not talking about a stem cell with me anymore. You know what I mean? So I guess if I started to go back down, they probably would.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know.
But I think there more and more new drugs are coming
Yeah,
out
that's right.
now. So
That's right.
I think you're on the top. I mean, they're treating you like they treating all the new patients now, I think.
Well,
I don't think they're pushing a whole lot of amyloidosis patients to stem cell.
Oh, I
right
see.
now. I don't know.
See. Yeah, they do have some new drugs, definitely, and they've been talking about them. I've heard some that are in a trial and whatnot. But so the great news is to me is that you're healthy and you're functioning. I mean, so Brian called me and I didn't know what to expect, because whenever you talk to one of your amyloidosis people, you just never know. Brian looks healthy. He looks great. He's from Iowa. I got a winter jacket on. He's in a single layer here because he's from Iowa and I'm not.
Fall weather here.
Yeah, it's fall weather for him, and I'm so cold. But I'm just so grateful that you feel good. So what is happening right now? Like, so what is your treatments right now? What do you do? Is it
every 6 months I go get my blood checked and see the doctor, and it's in and out, and you know, I'm a miracle to a lot of the workers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was so sick, and then I'm back to so normal. You know, and they don't see you that often. They're like, oh, so you think what happened to him? Well, still here. Just don't have to come see him no more.
Yeah. I bet they do feel that way, that you're a miracle, right?
Miracle, yeah.
Yeah. I've heard the same thing. You know, not a lot of us make it.
Right.
And not a lot of us make it to where they're able to sit down and have these kind of conversations. So I love that. I love that you're doing well.
Right, and I'm a believer in the Mayo Clinic. I mean,
me too.
I mean that.
Me too.
When I first got diagnosed, they were going to watch me for 1 year. Well, then when I got to Mayo, they said you would have died in that year, you know, because they didn't know if I had it or didn't have it.
Oh wow!
So the technology that Mayo had versus what I had in Waterloo, Iowa, was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
They actually used the test that they took from Waterloo. The doctor read it at Mayo and said, I had amyloidosis, and then he goes, we're going to do our own check.
Get the heck out of here.
No.
So they had the test from Waterloo,
right? And
but Waterloo didn't know.
Waterloo was, they didn't know.
And that's not uncommon.
And they wanted to watch me for a year. That's when I said, do you mind a second opinion? And then he's like, no. I said, I just don't want to make you mad, you know. It's like going buy a used car from somebody, and take it back to them and say, hey, you ripped me off, you know. And then they'll treat you bad. But
here's the great point. So all of you here that are maybe new to this channel, who are just going through amyloidosis, you got to trust your gut and you got to hustle, because Brian got that. He went to his doctor, you know, but he said, do you mind if I have a second opinion? He went, he took the test, and there it was. And for me personally, I was down here, Brian, for 2 years here in Vegas, all around specialists. They told me I had emphysema, all kind of stuff. They were fine. You're good, buddy.
Right.
I was gonna die.
So I was sitting in my office chair one day, my ankles were swelling up, and I did that for a couple of days. I was like, man, there's something going on. This ain't right. And finally, I told my boss, I said, I gotta go to urgent care and get checked out. When I got into urgent care that day, they're like, come in there, and there's 3 or 4 doctors ripping my clothes off, my shirt off. They said, you're having a heart attack. And I said, no, I'm not having a heart attack. I know I'm not having a heart attack. And they're like, we got an ambulance, come get me. And I said, I'm not riding no ambulance, you know. I said, I'll drive it. They made me sign a waiver to go to the emergency. When I got to the emergency room, they're like, well, you're not having a heart attack, but you need to go see the heart doctor. Well, went and seen the heart doctor, and they did all their tests. They said, well, your heart's good. Or, you know, it's not abnormal. We're going to send you to the cancer doctor, kidney doctor. Went to the kidney doctor, and then he sent me to the cancer doctor.
Wow.
So that's how I really found out.
Wow.
So if it wasn't for the kidney doctor, I probably would have never known I had amyloidosis.
Isn't that interesting?
You get run through them channels.
That is.
But a lot of people don't know about the disease. So
no, they don't.
You know, you tell people, and they're like, don't even know what that is.
No, they don't. Yeah, and that's so funny, because I was at a neurologist getting some work done because I have neuropathy, right?
Yep.
We were just talking about that a little bit. And my neurologist saw a protein in my urine or something like that. He's the one who set me up with an oncologist.
Right.
And if it wasn't for him, I never would have started this process.
My protein in my My urine is 0.
Is it?
Yep, and my blood, it's all good.
Damn. You.
So it's unbelievable what they can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you did it. I'm so happy that you're feeling good. I don't know, like, for me, people always ask me, what's up? I'm like, I don't know, and I feel great just taking it day by day. But
Right.
and people see me and they're like, oh, you look healthy, you look great. But you and I both know we don't know what's happening 2 years from today or 1 year from today. And so
Exactly.
that's why I watch my health so well and eat well and all those things. So, man, I'm just so glad that you're doing good, Brian.
You gotta live a life large.
Live life large. So, what would you tell right now a first month amyloidosis person who just got diagnosed? How it is. You don't know what's going on, and
Don't keep your head down and look forward to the good things that are gonna come.
yeah, right.
Yep. We both probably had our head down for a couple months, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's well worth it.
yeah. There's
Don't give up.
you got to believe that you're going to make it. Number one, and I feel like you got to get all the negativity away from you. Like,
Negativity away. Yep.
I told my family that I didn't want them to treat me any different. I didn't want them to boo-hoo over me and treat me like a victim or some kind of a patient, because that's not how I saw myself. And I think that if you allow that to happen, then you just buy into the sickness, and then it's like just like who you are.
Right.
And anyway, it's a difficult challenge. It's easier said than done, but anyway.
Like if you want to be sick, you're going to be sick. But if you don't want to be sick, you're not going to be sick. So you got to overcome all that.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, you have to go in those treatments. I used to go to those treatments visualizing and imagining that chemo was some kind of a life serum.
Right.
I
Exactly.
didn't see it as chemo. I was seeing it as some kind of a life booster. And I know it was all BS, but it was something I had to believe in.
Right.
So, anyway, Brian, man, so thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, it's great to see you. I'm glad you're still here.
Yeah. Thank you. Likewise. So I will let, if people come, and you can. I'll post this in the next couple of days, and Brian will, if he wants to respond and put his phone number on the YouTube, he'll do that, so you can reach out to him as well. But anyway, and you all with amyloidosis, keep your head high, stay strong. You can make it happen. We got two living proofs right here, baby. But you got to start right here, and then take care of yourself. Take it serious, because it's no joke. So anyway, great news from Ryan. Great news for me, and thanks for tuning in. See you.